Hey guys, Little V here, and this is a Jericho Guitars Fusion Walnut Evertune. I picked up one of these things because I actually inquired with their custom shop about basically getting the Edge, the other model I have, with a Evertune in it, and they told me they were coming out with this thing, so I grabbed this thing. So this is, technical specs are, it is a baritone, so 27-inch scale length, 17-inch radius, walnut body, as the name suggests, 3-piece mahogany neck, and ooh, I forgot to take this off, hold on. Let's do this on camera so I can get right on camera. Just, that's satisfying. Ebony fingerboard, and 22 frets, and a Les Paul kind of configuration, 2-volume, 2-tone, with a coil split on each one, and a 3-way toggle, and a Seymour Duncan Jazz Blues, and a 59 in the neck, and it is pretty badass. And then obviously the big, important piece right here, the Evertune that's in the name, is that as well too. Oh, and then also Grover locking tuners. I believe they're Grover. Yeah, they're Grover. They're locking tuners up here as well too. By the way, this is the guitar I've been using in the last couple of videos of mine, which you can check out here and here, if you want to hear it in a full mix with what I do and all that good stuff. So, full disclosure before I get into this, I am endorsed by Jericho Guitars, so my review is going to be a little bit biased. That being said, there is a reason why I'm playing them. They are fantastic instruments, and I 100% recommend trying them out. First off, if you're familiar with my channel, I love Tellies. I love Telly-style guitars. These are like my favorite. In fact, they're also sending me a pickguard. There is a pickguard option for this guitar as well too. Oh, I should probably also mention there's like a regular, well, standard 25 3/4 neck, which they do a slightly longer neck than a Fender. Yeah, you can get it in a much more standard type thing. But they come with a pickguard like so, and they're sending that out eventually. Love it. There is a reason why it's called a Fusion. It's basically like if we're name dropping, it's a Telly and a Les Paul kind of combined together. The neck is definitely a Les Paul neck. It is big, beefy, D-shaped neck, which with I don't know what it is on the regular scale, but on this one it was perfect because when you have a baritone, I'm okay with big beefy necks. And actually, fun fact, that scale length is not that weird to get used to. The only thing that it was a little bit weird was the bends, just because you have to work a little bit harder to get those bends going. But like, as far as the actual like playing, it's pretty like okay. Like, it's not huge. It's just the bridge is a bit further back. That's all. So I mean, you can tell here, obviously from the distance of the pickups, there's a noticeable difference. Also, the fret ends are nicely rounded off. A big problem with living up here in Canada, where I'm at in Calgary. Everything is really dry here, so everything dries out super fast, and the first thing that I always have an issue with on every guitar is sharp edges, and not having that problem. They're sticking out just a tiny bit, but again, that's because of the climate change and stuff like that, so that's honestly, if I take that to a tech, I can get that fixed in like 2 seconds, but it's no sharp edges, which is great. Another thing I really like about it is the weight. It's not super heavy, but it's got some chunk to it, and like it's a reassuring amount of weight. Like, it doesn't feel like it's gonna break if someone looks at it the wrong way, and it also won't wear you down from wearing a strap-on for 30-40 minutes and playing giggity. Another thing I really appreciate about the guitar is because of the long scale length, I can get away with using a lighter string for a lower tuning. It came with like 13 to 62, and it was in B standard, and still is in B standard. I was like, oh, that's a little too beefy. Also, it had a wound third string, which I'm not a huge fan of. So I threw on I experimented with the different packs, but ended up throwing on 1156, the thing I use for my drop C guitar. And I love it. It's exactly what I need. It's exactly what I want, which is also doubly useful because that means I can use the exact same pack of strings for both of my guitars for separate tuning, which is fantastic. The only thing I'm not a huge fan of is the pickups. It's just a personal preference. I'm not a huge fan of the JB pickup. I have it in another guitar, and I got decent results with it, but it's not like, it doesn't blow my hair back, It's like, it's okay. 59's cool. I dig this. Really bluesy tone out of this one. Super bluesy tone out of this one. Yeah, this I'm not a huge fan of. I might actually just swap them both out and replace them with active pickups just to try them out, like one of like the new Fishman Fluence pickups or something, like the Devin Townsend set or something, just so that way I can flip it between active and passive whenever I need it. And I mean, I have two individual controls, so I could just make one of these a split, and then one of these like the active-passive switch if I wire it up properly. But yeah, I'm not really sold on the pickups. Again, it's personal preference. You might like the JB. I'm By the way, this is a periphery coffee cup I'm drinking out of, and you've been seeing in the clips, and so you can kind of guess where my musical tastes lie, a little bit. Alright, so now for the other big thing that you probably clicked on this video for, the Evertune! So this thing is fantastic. I'm actually going to get this retrofitted in my other guitars now because I freaking love this. This saves me so much time. It's a bridge. It's not just a bridge, it's a whole system kind of internally that keeps your strings in tune, keeps you permanently in tune, which is fantastic. And it's a completely mechanical system, so no batteries, nothing like that, no problems like that, and it's fantastic. Just to kind of like put it into perspective, that opening track of the start of this video, I played that a week and a half ago. I recorded that about a week and a half ago, and the audio clips you've been hearing, I haven't tuned the guitar since I recorded it. Also, I tuned the guitar once at the start of that recording session. Just a quick little tweak. I think something was out by like 2 or 3 cents, and just went boop, kind of like that. So basically how you tune it and how it works is, these are now the whole other thing, but you tune it with an Allen key they give you, and it's in here in the individual saddles, and then this sets your string height, and then this back here is your intonation, and it's actually super easy to do. I've had this in 3 different tunings so far since I've gotten it, so just kind of experimenting with it, and it took me maybe like 20-30 minutes to give it a proper setup, so it's not super difficult to do. Actually, a really cool thing, because each string is isolated, if you wanted to just change one string, say you want to drop this down to an A, you could just go and adjust that one thing, and it won't affect the other strings at all, which is fantastic. So, you know, like if on a regular bridge, if you adjust one string, it kind of shifts everything just slightly. Other ones don't get shifted at all. It's fantastic. The other really cool thing about it is you can actually set it so that the strings bend, like a regular guitar, you know, or you can set it so they don't bend at all. And that's really, really useful for a number of reasons. One, say you're a really heavy picker, all of a sudden that problem's fixed. Or say you have really poor intonation and you're, you know, kind of bending your strings. This would be kind of like for a beginner player. That being said, I don't think you'd be having this thing installed in a beginner guitar because the piece itself is pretty expensive. But, you know, say you have kind of bad intonation, you kind of end up pulling on strings and stuff, you can fix that problem. And you can set any combination, right? So say you're playing super heavy metal, chugga-chugga, wheedly-wheedly rhythm stuff, and but you still want to have, you know, the flexibility of bending strings. You can just set the top 3 strings here, 4, 5, and 6, as not bending. So no matter how hard you pick them, they'll never go out of tune. And you can set these guys as regular bending, so you can, you know, bend and do all your kind of stuff like that. I currently have it set up exactly like you know, you normally would, and it's pretty cool like that. So it's a really useful tool for recording, especially if you're messing around. In fact, on a live stream recently, I octatracked something. So I tracked a guitar part 8 times, and it sounded exactly perfect. There was no weird deviation of of notes going out or any sort of like weird like beats of like or anything like that, which is pretty cool. I would never record a song with 8 guitar parts as the rhythm part, but it's a cool option if you need it. So as far as price point goes, I believe it's $1,100, something like that, like $1,120 or something that it goes for, American. And I would totally pay that for this. I think every other guitar in the market with an Evertune bridge and similar specs is like at least another extra $100 to $200, so it's actually quite affordable. And I would put this up against a $2,000-$3,000 guitar any day of the week. Honestly, I've played some really expensive guitars. I own some really expensive guitars, and I love Jericho stuff. There's a reason why I've been playing their stuff pretty much exclusively, and before the endorsement, I just love that edge, and I love this thing, and this kind of replaces my 7-string, because never was a huge 7-string fan to begin with, honestly. I've been trying for years, but I really like 6 strings, and I'm okay with just playing a baritone. And ironically enough, I don't mind 8 strings though. It's just 7s. 7s are weird for me. Don't know why I don't know. Just weird thing. I don't know. 8 strings, totally understand. 6 strings, totally understand. 7s, I'm like, ugh. Anyways, if you're interested in learning more about these guitars, or picking one up, or checking out the rest of the line, head over to JerichoGuitars.com. Also, tell Dave I sent you. Thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Little V, and we'll see you next time.